So
Great.
we at the Taxpayers Alliance have taken a number of cars across England that continue to be non-ULEZ compliant under the current plans we see in London, and extrapolated what would happen if you expanded a ULEZ across the whole of England. And as you said, we found that with those non-compliant cars paying £12.50 a day, that would be £100 million motorists would be milked for every single day.
Every day, £100 million.
That's right. Absolutely. And we see ULEZ schemes being considered in places like Birmingham, Bristol, and Manchester. And unfortunately, it does seem that it's sort of coming down the tracks for a lot of places. Motorists at the moment are often the favourite punching bag of people, say, in Whitehall or metropolitan centres who are able to use world-class public transport networks like Transport for London, or who maybe ride a bike to work. But that's not the case for everyone. Some people have to use their car to work. Some people have to use their car to get to work. And unfortunately, they're in for a pounding.
And are these ULEZ zones even necessary? Because, I mean, over the next 10 years, we're projected to make the move to electric vehicles, which, you know, obviously don't emit emissions at the actual vehicle. They do at the power station that generates the electricity. But with the move to electric vehicles, it would seem we don't need these emission zones. Are they just a cash grab? I mean, I know Sadiq Khan, for example, has a massive hole in his budget. TfL is down £1.5 billion. So he wants to fill it by taxing everybody to the hilt. Is this just about money?
It's absolutely hugely about money. That's why, you know, you can see by these figures how tantalising it is for people who are in city halls or town halls or in Westminster to be raising money in this way. But the thing is, like you say, once ULEZ is implemented, we shouldn't be lulled into a false sense of security. When fuel duty is no longer raising money because people have electric cars, we'll have people trying to implement new taxes, and we may see some even more balmy measures coming down the line.
And what are some of the measures that would be implemented when we do move to electric vehicles and they can't put the duty on fuel anymore? Because, I mean, I think that's going to cost, that's going to be a hole in the government's budget of something around £26 billion a year they make from fuel duty.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're absolutely right. There is going to be a huge hole, and we've seen suggestions that Sadiq Khan might charge by the mile. The important thing is that when new taxes are brought in to once fuel duty sort of dies away, that it's done to match the cost of the impact of driving rather than just as a way of raising money. So some kind of road pricing scheme which is based on time and the demand on the road might be a way of doing it, but it can't be a sort of scheme that's made in the image of ULEZ, which ends up just punishing poorer drivers who can't upgrade or who have to drive at certain times.
I mean, wouldn't a better option, instead of trying to find new taxes to cover the hole in the budget from the end of fuel duty, wouldn't it be better to just reduce the amount that the government spends and let people keep a bit of that money?
Totally agree with you. Unfortunately, in Whitehall, that's an idea that we're trying to get hard to proliferate, but we're struggling with. Thankfully, it seems the Chancellor's looking to find efficiencies. And there are efficiencies to be found in Whitehall and across the public sector. And if they could find those, they can pass some of the savings on to hard-pressed taxpayers, including motorists.
And we can see this becoming quite a politically divisive issue now. And in fact, the recent by-election in Uxbridge, it was expected to be an easy win for Labour against the Tories. In fact, the Tories held on to Uxbridge, and that was mainly due to people rejecting Sadiq Khan's ULEZ and wanting to send a message to Labour that we don't want this ULEZ and we don't want to be paying this tax. I mean, do you think public opinion and just the fact that it's politically damaging for politicians to back this could force a change?
I think so. I think people across the country, they want to improve air quality. They want to see the environment safeguarded, but they don't want to see huge charges like ULEZ, which turn them into cash cows. They don't want to see massive extra charges on their energy bills. They want this to be sustainable in a way which doesn't make things harder for them at the time of a cost of living crisis, which is why you see newspapers and programs like yours arguing against huge amounts of charges on people and this sort of race to net zero.
And just quickly before we go, we've seen a clash between Keir Starmer and Sadiq Khan over ULEZ. Sadiq is obviously pro-ULEZ because he wants that money, and Keir Starmer is anti-ULEZ because he wants those votes. Do you think this could cause a rift in the Labour Party?
I think it may do, but the important thing will be for Londoners and people who have to commute into London. What they'll want to see is a result in terms of ULEZ being put to bed, and I think that's what's important for people who are looking at their cars in the drive, thinking, I don't have enough money to upgrade it, I'm not eligible for the Khan scrappage scheme, and they're worried about their bank balance more than sort of internal Labour Party divisions. But hopefully they get the result.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Conor Holohan, campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance. Thanks for joining us tonight.